Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while. I promised to try not to waste y'all's time, and that's why I hadn't made a video in a while. And I think I have a video here that y'all might want to see. The upper steering shaft that I put on, that steering shaft, it didn't end up performing the way I wanted it to, and I ended up sending it back. I have since went and removed the link to the steering shaft because in my opinion it's not up to the quality standards it should be, and I don't want to be linking products that are no good. If you click the links and buy the product through the link, it gives me a small commission for anything you purchase through my product links, but I don't want for y'all to be buying products that's no good. So anyway, that's why that link has been removed. I put a note after the link where the link was at saying that I removed it and why. So today I've got two things I'm going to be doing. The first one is replacing the leaky power steering sensor. It's been leaking ever since I've had the Jeep. It took me a while to figure out actually where it was coming from, so I have a power steering sensor. I've got my old upper steering shaft installed on JJ right now, and you remember when I replaced it the last time how loose the universal joint in the shaft was. I'll show you that right here. So what I'm going to do, I have ordered me a new universal joint for that shaft, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the old one out and I'm going to replace it with this one. Heavy duty, really good and tight, no slop in it, and I think that should get me where I'm wanting to be on my driving. So I'll show you why I'm wanting to replace that universal joint. I have a little slack in my steering wheel. It's not a ton, but it's enough when you're driving this Jeep down the road and the wind's blowing. You got just a little spot there where you get no input, and it's this much right here. There's just nothing there, and that's just enough to be annoying. Most of them are probably worse than that. I'm a little bit particular about how I want a vehicle to drive, but you can see that it's got quite a bit. And I went back and reviewed the video footage. The upper universal joint on this upper shaft, it's got two. It's got one on the lower part of the upper shaft and one up here to where it connects to the wheel itself. The upper one is good and tight. I reviewed the video and it wasn't flopping around like the lower one was. The lower one was wore slap out. So I'm going to replace that today. First, I'm going to do the easy thing first. I'm going to replace the power steering sensor. So let's get to that. So the sensor that's leaking is right here, and I actually have a zip tie around the plug because the plug is it's broke, but the sensor itself is what's leaking. So I'm going to pull that out. I'll have to take this breather and all this stuff off to try to get a little better access to it to where I can get it out, snip that zip tie, and replace that sensor. All right, I don't have the correct size tool to fit that. I'm blown away. I've got a 19mm is the biggest tool that I have, so I'm going to have to improvise something I do not like doing, but will work. And that's channel locks. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to reach down in here, get a good hold on it, just give it a twist. That is tight. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get a wrench onto this piece and hold this pipe still. If I don't, it is going to twist and I don't want to crack my line. So let me go get a wrench that will fit this. I will have one that'll fit that surely. and then I'll try to get this off. Man, that was tight. Alright. I ordered this from the internet, and it's got an O-ring on it, and I'm not going to get it near that tight. It shouldn't have to be that tight. Out with the old, in with the new. Alright, that's all that's getting. Let me plug this plug back in. Because that plug is good. It will probably stay. Let me see. It clipped on. That fixed that problem. So now I need to plug everything back up. Alright, so here's the steering shaft universal joint, knuckle, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to be replacing. I did not make mention of this, but I'm going to try to do this without taking the steering shaft out of the Jeep. I'm going to try to lay under the bottom, cut this shaft right here somewhere in this area, and this one right here unbolts, and the one that I have bolts up here and down here. So if I can get this cut through pretty clean right here, I should be able to do this repair with the steering shaft in the Jeep, which will be great if the one that I bought fits this shaft correctly. I measured it and everything shows that it will. So they call this a double D. It has kind of a circular shape at the top and the bottom, and then it's square on the sides. So the shaft on this side has one circular shape on it, and these screws right here will keep everything from moving around. This part of the shaft don't have any circular shapes on it, which does not matter. It just gives it a little more room up and down. This screw is going to be pushing down on it anyway. So if I can just get it to go over the shaft, and it's going to be close. I mean, I measured a while ago with my calipers. It's going to be close, but I think it's doable. I may have to do a little filing. We'll just have to see. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, let me go get my grinder, and I'll be laying on the ground and just see if I can get it up in there. If I can't, I'll have to take it out. So I laid under the bottom. I can indeed get to it, so I'm going to give that a go. I'm not going to film it because I have burnt several of these GoPro lenses from getting sparks. Sparks are so hot that it actually melts into the glass. So I'm just going to lay under the bottom. It's going to be a tight fit. It's kind of sketchy. I'm not recommending you do this at all. It's just what I'm going to do today. Well, I got it cut. It worked pretty doggone good, actually. I used my welding helmet. I set the setting to grind. That way I had full face protection, and it wouldn't darken when it started seeing those sparks. So if you got a welding helmet and it's got that option, it's really good to use that, because it's a face shield. Now I'm going to get my piece. I'm going to remove these bolts right here and see if that will fit over the shaft, and I'm really hoping it will. right, here's the old one. This wore slap out. All kind of power steering fluid on it. That's what all that is. Been leaking for years apparently. Now let me see if this puppy will fit. So this didn't go as smoothly as I wanted it to. This piece right here is just a little bit too tight. I heard one guy on a review saying that he filed inside of his just a little bit. It almost goes on, so it's not going to take much, and it almost goes on both sides. It don't fit on either side, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. It starts and then it stops. So anyway, I'm gonna get my Dremel and I'm gonna Dremel some of that out. All right, there it is. It's not, it could stand to be just a little bit longer. I'm going to put the screws in on this one. I'm going to put a screw in on this one. I'm going to put a tack weld back here, just like it was from the factory, because I think that'll just keep it more secure. That's why I want to do that. All right, so let me put these screws in, and I'll have to adjust my steering wheel just a little bit because it was a quarter turn out from factory. This is the way all this lines up. That's not a big deal. It's really easy to adjust the steering wheel on these Jeeps. All right, I got it put on, got everything tightened up. I'm going to leave that bolt out, and I've only put one bolt in. Don't know if you can see that on this side as well. I know the lighting is not ideal, but it don't need the other ones. This one right here has got a slot in this piece, and I'm going to put a tack weld on this piece to ensure that this never comes loose. And it has really tightened the steering wheel up. But you can see the steering wheel is at an angle now, but it's got resistance even where it's loose at, so it's going to be a lot more drivable this way. So let me get the welder out and put a tack weld on it. Let's see here. I'm not sure which way to go. We're going to try this way first. All right, I've got it mounted. I've got it more than spot welded in. I welded the top and the side of it, so it's not going to go anywhere. All right, guys, I'm test driving the Jeep, and it has greatly improved the handling. When before you could just kind of flick it back and forth, it would bounce from side to side without any resistance. It has resistance. Even in the little bit of movement it has, there is resistance there. So much tighter. I can control it with just little bitty movements now. Yeah, it's nice. Very, very pleased with the outcome of that. Well, guys, that's going to be a wrap on this video. That's a big improvement on JJ's driving. That's what he needed the first time. And I swapped out to a new steering shaft, and it wasn't any better, and I sent it back. Anyway, this is a success story again. I'm proud I got that done. If I had it do over again, I would have probably taken the steering shaft out so I could have put a prettier weld on it. The weld I got on it is not the prettiest one at all. I'm going to spray a little black paint on it to cover it up, but it's functional. I thank y'all for watching. Y'all come back next time. We'll see what we got going in.